Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come up and have a seat, there's plenty of room here in the front pews. First of all, thank you all for coming this afternoon. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Van and Doris Phillips.
Let me just start off by echoing what Mike said. I really appreciate you folks coming out, and I also, we're just barely into this process, and already I'm indebted to any number of people. I'm certainly indebted for Mike for setting this up. I'm certainly indebted for Lance Swanson for putting the website together and doing all that, being here today to take pictures. And I'm indebted to Vern for letting me do that. And but anyway, I really am. And for the committee, we've met a couple, got some really good ideas, and got a great committee. So I think we probably have. If I can't win with this kind of a committee, I don't think I can win with anything probably. But at any rate, Doris is standing closer than she said she would, because to stand right beside me kind of acknowledged that she supported this process, and I'm not sure she did, but anyway. And I thank the media for being here. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I want to start off here by just saying where I think I'm at in this thing. You know, District 17, I think, needs maybe a little stronger voice. Please don't consider that a negative, because I don't mean it to be such. But I think there needs to be a stronger voice that in promoting this area. This is a great place. This is a great part of the state of Nebraska, and it needs to have a strong voice to promote it and make sure that, that we're heard. And so for that reason, I have a number of things that I'm concerned about, a number of crucial issues that are out there. And I think really that maybe my background lends itself to these issues. And you can certainly go to the website and look at the bio and see where I'm at on those issues. Spent 40 years in education. Spent the last 8 since I've been out of the K-12 arena with the community college. And in that process, we did the college center out here, the joint venture with Wayne. Certainly would never portray that I was made that happen, but very supportive of it, and it's a great thing that happened. So that's one piece of it. 15 years with the Dakota County Bank. I think I got an idea. While I'm not a bank and I'm not a loan officer, I think I got an idea of what some of the issues are that bankers today face. My wife and I have a small farm in Cumming County, and while I've never farmed, I never grew up on a farm. We sharecrop that with a young farmer down there, and I think I got a fair understanding of what his frustrations and that of other farmers are. And so I think with all that said, a number of years ago, the Board of Education gave me a golf putter, and on the head of it, it said making a difference. And so I'd like to think that maybe there's some of these areas that I can indeed make a difference in. 3 hot buttons, or 3 things that I'm really interested, concerned about. Number 1 is the state of Nebraska has a great many obligations to its citizens. But 2 of those groups in there especially, I think. You know, they've got an obligation for safety in the highway patrol. They have an obligation to adjudicate those people that are found to not follow the laws. And so they have the court system. But 2 groups. One of them is the kids. Neither one of these groups, by the way, can vote. One of them is the kids. I think we have to make sure that they get the best possible education, because that is their future and it's our future. And the other group is the handicapped Nebraskans, the handicapped adults. They have no one but the state of Nebraska to look after them. Now, I had this down. I had this as one of my topics before the Beatrice fiasco down there, and that certainly casts badly on Nebraska. We just simply cannot treat any citizen, especially handicapped citizens, the way those poor people down there were treated. And so I think that those are two areas that I think we have to take a real hard look at. And we have to make sure that these Nebraskans have a safe, caring, nurturing environment which to live and to learn. Another one is protecting the infrastructure, bridges and roads. You know, just about every small town and city in Nebraska, especially in District 17, have one of their goals is economic development for jobs and also to raise their tax base. Now, it's very difficult to attract businesses if you don't have this infrastructure, good roads. No business is going to want to come in if the roads aren't at least up to par. And I think we've allowed those to deteriorate in the last few years. And I know when money gets tight, and I've seen them done in schools, you know, that's the one thing we chop, and we don't take care of the infrastructure. So I think we need to do that. Another area is the rural revitalization, and the community college has a real part in trying to promote rural revitalization. Again, without a good infrastructure, that's just not going to happen. You know, we're just not going to be able to revitalize these small rural communities that desperately need some help. And the third area is in taxes. You know, you can't talk today without visiting the arena of taxes. And one thing I think we have to do is to assure our constituents that the state of Nebraska will indeed live within its means, just like we expect them to do. Now, one of the big problems today, it seems like, with the creation of jobs, and this is coming down from the federal level, is that business owners, small and large alike, are afraid to step out and hire more people, expand the business, because they don't know what's going to happen next year or the following year in terms of health care and in terms of taxes. And so while we cannot do anything about the federal government, we can certainly make these people aware that their state government is going to live within its means, and like I say, just like we expect them to do. So those are the three areas that I have. I'm not going to go on. I'm just going to throw it open for questions if anyone has any questions. And again, let me thank all of you for coming. It was great, and especially the committee and the folks that worked on this.
So this kind of encompasses a couple of areas that you're concerned about. The brain drain from Nebraska, a lot of its younger citizens go away to college, don't come back. Obviously that touches on economic development, that touches on education. Is there anything that you propose to do to keep these people in the state?
Well, I think the notion that we're trying to revitalize the rural area, those, out of a graduating class, of 10, 7, or 15 or whatever it is, 75% of them will leave. And the reason they leave is because there's anything for them to do. If there are jobs there, they'll stay, because many of them want to stay. They like where they grew up, but because there isn't enough for them to do. So if we've got the infrastructure in place that I'm talking about, so that we can help them grow, and hopefully, I would hope we could save and keep a number of these young folks in these communities.
How will you use your administrative experience as a foundation for what you hope to do?
Well, I think one of the things is that if you're going to be an administrator successful, you got to have a vision, and so I'd like to think that I've got a vision for where I'd like to see these things go. Also, in the role of administration, one of the big areas, of course, is budgeting. So, I can usually read a budget sheet, and sometimes that's of an advantage to you. Those are a couple of areas. I guess I hadn't really thought about that, but, and then just how do you, not necessarily manage people, but how do you treat people?
So why do this? Why not just sit back and relax?
Well, I've had this notion all along that I think you don't stop playing a game because you get old. You get old because you stop playing the game. And I haven't stopped playing the game.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm old enough to vote.
That was a little nosy.
How's the secondary education in Nebraska? Nebraska has gone up quite a bit. What are you going to do to help control that? And sort of, a lot of people are wanting to cut budgets for secondary institutions. Would you fight that?
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear the first part of that.
Well, the cost of secondary education keeps going up in Nebraska. What would you do to help maintain the cost increase?
Okay, now, are we talking about high school education? We're talking about
The university.
university?
Yeah.
The post-secondary part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, but education, K-12 and education postgraduate is very important to us. The University of Nebraska is a great research institution. Now with the, with our entrance into the Big Ten, we have more opportunities there. We have to make sure that we aren't a stumbling block and let that go ahead. The community college is an absolutely great venue for communities to tap into. If we have a business that closes, in 24 hours, a community college can be there either to help them become more fluent in English, help them to fill out forms for new jobs, all kinds of them. The community college is a great thing for this. And we can't forget the trustee institutions. They're kind of the mainstay of education in the state of Nebraska. And I'm a graduate of Wayne State. And so I can say that with a great deal of pride. And so I'm not willing to slit their throat out there at the expense of the budget. I think we have to look at how we spend the money, and then where do we set the priorities on that. This doesn't happen all at once, but all of education has to have a fair piece. Anyone else? Okay, well, again, let me thank all of you for coming. I certainly do appreciate it, and the folks are good friends from Norfolk that came over here, Mara and Galen. Thanks for driving over here. I'll make sure Bart stays good on that. Okay, thank you again for coming.